it's Mare from SickMom. I'm checking in with all of you for day 8 of the carnivore diet, or some people call it the lion diet, or a way of eating. It's been a good day. It's been a really good day, actually. Not just with carnivore, but overall. I've had a really... it's been a comfortable day for me. That's not something I can say every day. I felt pretty good. I felt like I had some energy, and it was another beautiful day here in Calgary. I was able to go out today at lunch and barbecue on my balcony and just really enjoy some of the beautiful weather that we were having. That always lifts my spirits when we've got a little bit of sunshine, but not being in a whole whack of pain for a change. That's kind of a good thing in my world. The people that I am really close with, they know that I try not to talk about the whole pain thing all that much. I mean, yes, it comes up in conversation, but I have worked really, really hard for this whole illness journey not to turn into some huge pity party. Early days, yes, there were some days where I was really sad. I was sad because I had to give up everything. You know, I had to give up my business, I had to give up clients, I had to give up having a social life and going out. It's not something that everybody experiences, and I hope, it's my sincere hope, that you all never have to go through this. If you are dealing with some kind of chronic illness, though, my heart goes out to you because I really get it. Having what I call the shit sandwich, where I have like this base layer of hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and then on top of that you put psoriatic arthritis, and then the top of the sandwich is kind of, you know, that's the fibromyalgia. And then all of the other stuff that I've got going on in my body, like the irritable bowel syndrome, the osteoarthritis, migraines, that sort of thing. You can kind of think of that as like the filler in the sandwich that's in between all of the other stuff, because that's really what my illness picture looks like. It's a combination of interlocking layers that have symptoms that overlap and issues that overlap. So it's never been a cut and dry, here, take this pill and you're going to feel better, or you need to go to physio for a month and you'll feel better. No. When you get as sick as I was in the beginning, you can't even exercise. Some days getting out of bed is almost too much. And having said that, there's days where even just lying in bed is super painful. You can't find a comfortable position to be in at all. It doesn't matter what you do, you just can find no relief. And I had years of that. So, you know, I've mentioned this before, that going on carnivore is not something that I took lightly, because it is a really big lifestyle change. And I just have so much hope. The past year has been tremendous for me. I was able to be out in the world, as I like to say, a little bit more, spend more time with friends and colleagues, and reconnect with people that I haven't talked to for a long time. So I had a great year last year by comparison to the 4 years before that, or 3 years before that. So, you know, it's important to note that I had already hit a milestone before I started carnivore, and that I was just kind of looking, okay, how do we level up? How do we get to the next level? What can we do to try and improve and build upon what we have? I had some really good heart-to-hearts with a couple of people that are near and dear to me, and had to be very real about the fact that it was terrifying to think of even backsliding to the point where I'd lost what I'd gained in the past year. If you guys can hear the sirens in the background, sorry about that. I live really close to a fire station, so I often get sirens running through here. But thankfully, they're not coming for me. They're coming for you. No, I'm just kidding. They're not coming for you. If they are, I didn't call them. So, but just getting back to, when you have a baseline established, when you start feeling like, okay, I've gone from having almost every day being a really bad day physically to having one day a week that was good. Oh, that was, it's a good feeling when you can have one day a week that's good when normally all of your days are bad. And I hardly ever talk in terms of I'm having a bad day. It has to be really bad for me to talk about that these days because I've come a long way since then. But in the beginning, I just had to power through, and I was lucky that I'd worked on my mindset before that. So my mind was strong. And even though I had days that were really hard, as far as just being in my own skin, everything hurts, and I'm not even exaggerating, everything. Like the slightest touch, you become almost hypersensitive to pain when you're in that much pain. Everything hurts. Your body's on high alert. So I've taken lots of really interesting courses over the years, and one of them had to do with neuroplasticity and dealing with chronic pain. I will describe that process in more depth at another time, but let's just say that's been a very valuable tool for me. If you want to check it out, it's actually called neuroplasticity or neuroplastic transformation for chronic pain. And I took that course. It was facilitated by one of the specialists that I was seeing. And it was kind of like a group session where we would all go and we would do the work together. We would have our takeaways. But by the end of that 3 months that I had gone through and really started utilizing a lot of the tools that were put in front of me and figuring out what did work and what didn't work for me, it was a valuable process. And sometimes you have to go through that process and you don't necessarily know something's going to work for you and maybe it won't. You have to give it a try. And I'm not talking the kind of try where, it's kind of like you have a new hot sauce and you're going to try it and you go, no, I'm done. Trying stuff involves commitment. It involves time. It involves dedication. And when you have no energy and you are in so much pain that you can barely move to get out of bed, that brings your commitment level up to a whole other plane of existence. You have to deal with yourself and where you're at the same time as trying to onboard new information and bring that in and really try to integrate it into your life. I'm fortunate that I was able to do it. I had really great people supporting me throughout my life at that point, and those people are still with me today. I feel like I have these champions that have just kept saying, you know what, at least you're doing something. You're doing something. You're not just waiting at home for some magical cure to fall in your lap. Because I know that there is no cure. There's no cure for anything that I have. And, grieving is part of that process where you kind of go, okay, life as I knew it is kind of the same. We just have a name for it now. But that name, that label, that description of your condition now gives other people something that they can research and that they can kind of latch onto to explain and give them some kind of frame of reference. Because if you've never been in that much pain, if you've never injured yourself doing sports or in a car accident, or you've never had surgery or whatever it may be, if you've never had very long, drawn out, intense pain that just shows up at the drop of a hat, it's very difficult for you to understand what that person is going through. I always try to keep my outlook bright and look to the future and say, where I am now is temporary. Where I am now is temporary. It's like it was my mantra. You know, I will get through this. I will make it through. I don't know when, but I just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and taking one tiny step, sometimes towards the bathroom, because that's as far as I would get in a day. So compared to where I was, this is already a new level of just existence for me compared to what the last few years have been like. And Carnivore kind of came to me at the right time when I was open to not just trying something new, but I'm a researcher. I love to research. I love to get my hands on scientific papers and interviews and, you know, and that are kind of explaining both sides of the equation. And, you know, thankfully I had a head start. I already had the nutrition conversation in my wheelhouse. So this was just kind of adding and building upon that conversation. So yeah, I mean, this has just come at the right time for me. A year ago, I wouldn't have been ready. I would have looked at that and I would have said, no, that sounds like too much work. It's too much effort. I can't do it. Because I wasn't in a place where I felt strong, or that I felt comfortable, or that I felt confident that tomorrow's not going to be a gong show. So when you go from a place of feeling like every day you know what to expect, and that you kind of are going through different stages of your flares with your illness, in case you don't know what a flare is, it's exactly what it sounds like. Your illness, one of them or all of them, decide, yeah, they've pretty much decided that they're doing a hostile takeover. And you have nothing to say about it. You're kind of stuck with it, right? You're in your body. You can't exchange it for another one. So you have to just live with what comes at you on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes it's not even like day-to-day. Sometimes it's you go to sleep, you finally get to sleep, you've been asleep for half an hour, and you develop painsomnia, which is insomnia caused by pain. Again, very self-explanatory, but in the chronic illness community, we have lots of those little gems that very accurately and succinctly describe what it is that you're experiencing. I have a lot of euphemisms for that kind of stuff because I've brought humor into my life with me to try and alleviate some of this. You know, I could have gone to the dark and angry place and stayed there. Instead, it's kind of one of those places you visit for a while and then you go back to the happy place, you know, because my mind, my heart, those are my happy places. They always have been. And I have so much joy and happiness in my life. If you saw the day one video, I still had joy and happiness, but I felt like crap because I was coming off of a three-day crash where I was pretty much lying down for 3 days to try and get my neck sorted out, and the weather was causing me all kinds of fatigue and pain. And so day 8, we're doing a whole lot better on day 8 just because we're 7 or 6 or 5 days away from that crash that I had last weekend. So it's not like Carnivore, I'm loving this, but I know that that's not necessarily directly responsible for how I'm feeling today. It's too soon. You know, I do want to say though that I still maintain this has made my life so much easier. It takes a lot of the guesswork and the, oh, I need to go buy some more, you know, of fruit and veg or specific foods that, you know, they either have to be gluten-free or this or that. It really doesn't matter anymore because now I just have to make sure that I have enough meat in the house that I can prep, and it's great because I'm doing a lot more cooking. So this is one of the reasons why this came at the right time, because I actually feel like cooking. I want to be in my kitchen. I want to make stuff that tastes good. You know, I'm a cook. I'm a baker. I love to cook, and that was one of the joys that kind of left me when I was really, really ill, I didn't have the energy to cook. It was whatever I can get my hands on that is going to not make me feel worse and that won't make me nauseous. Because there's certain foods, even foods that I'm not intolerant to, that on the wrong day, no, just can't do it. So, yeah, that's kind of it for day 8. I mean, I'm in a good place. I feel like I'm moving forward. I feel happy and satisfied with my choices. And so far, the questions that have been coming towards me from friends and family, they've been very respectful and mindful and compassionate, and I'm just so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that I have amazing people in my life. So I would just suggest one thing. If you're sitting there right now watching this and you're saying to yourself, you know, I wish I had some of those good people in my life, consider me one of your good people. If you don't have anybody that you consider good people, you can come to me. I'm going to be bringing you some really good stuff. You know, I want to help if I can, and I know that I have limited cycles or limited capacity for how I can help others at the moment because I'm still healing myself and I'm helping myself. But I will offer you whatever I can do to be present and help you be mindful on your journey. So just reach out, drop me a comment, say hi. You know, this is a positive, happy place to be, and I want to keep it that way. I did manage to record a couple of tutorials this afternoon as well. I was feeling good and had beautiful, bright, clear light coming into my window by my makeup table, so it was time to do a couple of really quick, easy makeup tutorials that I'm going to load into a different playlist. And, you know, because that's another thing that I adore. I love makeup. I love playing with it. I'm also a face painter, so for me, it's all just taking that blank canvas and seeing what we can do with it. Yeah, other than that, just remember, if you love this video, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know exactly when the next videos are being released. And it's a happy day, such a happy day. All right, so this is Mare from SickMom. Check it out. Have a great night.